Today in the crypto space, we see the market going sideways just after a nice rally to the upside. Bitcoin right around the $82,000, Ethereum right around $1,900, down approximately 3%. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, pretty much indecisive, a mix of green and red. The question is, do we get a bounce, or do we come down to much lower levels and finally get a confirmation low that could give us the confidence for continuation to the upside? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, a project that many people are talking about, and of course that project is called Kaspa. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. We do see that we have the market cap holding steady as we speak, holding steady. Now, the question is, do we roll over again for another lower low? You know, some people might call it a dead cat bounce, and this could be the thing. You know, we come down into a strong level of support, you know, get a bit of relief, and then roll over for another lower low. This is the biggest, issue at the current moment, is that we haven't really got any major confirmations of a reversal, despite the green that we had yesterday, which was epic, amazing. Even today is doing pretty good, but ultimately there's no major indication. Lower time frames, sure, you're looking at the 1 hour, it's looking okay. It did get a bit of a rejection about an hour ago, but that's totally fine. You know, this is the way the markets work, guys. Markets have peaks and valleys, ebb and flows, and you got to choose your time frame, you got to choose your outlook, and at the end of the day, you got to follow through with your thesis. At the current moment, if I'm looking for long-term spot bags, sure, DCA, guys, start dabbling in. If you're looking for scalps, you could be scalping all day long. Obviously, a very easy way to raise capital if you're familiar with trading. And of course, guys, I got links in the description below if you're interested in no KYC solutions. Of course, exchanges that don't require ID is my preference, because ultimately I'm looking for privacy. So I got Blowfin, Mexi is a semi-KYC, but still very viable. So go check it out. Now, I do also see that the trading volume is not that interesting. Why? Because as the market has been, retracing to the upside, low trading volume, market participation is not that crazy or not that interested in it. Now, it could definitely turn. Just hear me out here. We could definitely see a squeeze to the upside that will induce a bit of FOMO and obviously get that volume going once again. But as of now, as I see it, if the market cap is rising with no volume, it's not a good look. I don't appreciate it. And you can see all the way down, on the way down, we've been doing pretty good as far as seeing trading volume fall and seeing that market participation has been, not really that interested. And then all of a sudden on this complete leg all the way to the downside, we got a massive amount of trading volume suggesting sell-off. And this is where things start to get a little bit confusing. Like, are we in a sell-off moment? Are we in an accumulation moment? And it all depends on the time frame. Let's scrape through the top 100 real quick to kind of get an idea of what the market is up to. Then we'll look at Bitcoin just as a leading indicator. We want to see what Bitcoin is up to. I do that every single day to inform our trades, to inform our decisions, and then we'll take a look at Kaspa. Kaspa, at the end of the day, is a project that a lot of people were talking about and still are talking about. However, its price action has been a little bit negative, and it's not just exclusive to Kaspa. However, it is currently at a level that you might be interested in. Of course, stay tuned because we'll talk about that in a second. We have Bitcoin coming down, still making lower lows and lower highs. As I mentioned in the last 3 days, although we've been getting some good green extreme price action, we haven't been gaining confirmed change of characters on a lot of these charts. Some of them better than others. We got XRP coming back to previous highs, local highs obviously, and obviously currently getting a bit of a resistance. Maybe we roll over and come back down. As you can see, even Solana got a nice little pop to the upside, little grind, let's call it a grind to the upside, slow and steady, and then all of a sudden maybe roll over. And this is the bigger concern for a lot of us. Are we just getting this little relief, this little retracement before we continue to the downside? We need those confirmation lows before we start deploying fat bags of capital. This is the intention here, is to be a very cautious trader, at the same time understanding that risk to reward needs to be fully intact, right? We see Pi Network doing okay, nice relief, 20% to the upside. That's awesome. Just be careful with rallies like this while the rest of the market is looking a little bit still in a downtrend, as you can see, these 1 hour fractals still in downtrends, no change of characters pretty much anywhere. I don't see any viable change of character on this 1 hour fractal. As you can see, lower lows and lower highs still. Whitebit doing a little bit better, a slightly higher high, which is not bad, good indication, but this is just a random anomaly. Near Protocol still making lower lows and lower highs. Pepe looking for a higher high here, not bad of a scenario. One of, again, a bull flag maybe here, looking for a break of the previous high. Not bad of a scenario to confirm that the uptrend on the local time frame. It's up 8% in the last 24 hours, which is not too bad. And we have Mantle looking pretty strong, okay, breaking higher highs and higher lows. A bit of an uptrend also right into this zone. So any little pullbacks might be a viable option to go into long positions, but be quick, guys. Be a ninja, because nothing's confirmed on higher time frames. This is what I'm trying to say here. If you get into any long positions or any short positions, to be honest, it could be at this current moment where we've seen a lot of accumulation, and during accumulation and distribution phases, we do get a lot of volatile price action that get people very wrecked. This is how whales raise capital. This is how manipulation happens, and in distribution, this is how whales basically are able to sell at good prices, is by manipulating the price within a range, and that's how you get distribution and accumulation ranges. We could be entering a very strong accumulation range here in this market, given the fact that we've been in a very oversold, fearful scenario, and that's usually where we get the majority of the price action as far as accumulation goes. Celestia doing really good here, up 17%. Again, one of the random out of the top 100. All we're seeing is maybe 3 of them that are showing this type of strength. In fact, Celestia is looking stronger than most that I've seen already. Great impulsive move to the upside. We just got to be careful with the bit of imbalance that is left behind as the price rallies really hard. We're going to leave volume gaps below and potential retracement levels. So be careful on that one. And we have IP, another one rallying up another 20%. Be careful on that guy right there, because the rest of the market is not really looking for that. So take your profit and run, guys. Be happy with your profit, and then see if it pulls back and get back in and trade your way to much higher levels, because as you can see, as I'm scrolling real quick here, lower lows and lower highs throughout this entire market, not many changes of character to the upside. Okay, so there are a few. Congrats if you're a holder of those few, but generally as a whole, the total market cap, the total crypto space is not looking like it's ready to run completely. It looks good, but it's not giving me that confirmation. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's begin looking at what Bitcoin is doing. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's showing us strength, we can expect the altcoins to show a little bit of strength. If a Bitcoin continues to roll over in this downtrend, what do we expect? The altcoins will come down, so be prepared. All right, guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So obviously, as we see Bitcoin currently rolling over here on this double top, we clearly stated the invalidation of the bullish trend was right here, because if we broke below this bottom, we were confirmed making a lower low. And since then, since we broke below this thick yellow white line right here, we did make lower lows and lower highs to confirm this downtrend on the lower time frames, not the daily per se, because as you can see, we're still doing good, big picture, higher highs and higher lows. We're just currently in a higher low. That's where we are right now. We're in a higher low, and I understand the sentiment. I understand the time frame. People trading on the 4 hour and got in maybe on the top, expecting a continuation. In a risky scenario, definitely are feeling the heat at the current moment. So I understand and I feel your pain. However, the good news is that we're approaching, or have approached, a good level of support, not just for Bitcoin, but for the total market cap. The total crypto space is currently testing good levels. And as that time passes, we can start receiving good confirmations of a reversal. At this current moment, we do not see major confirmations here on the daily time frame. All we are still doing is looking at this low. I'm just going to be very clear. Look at this low, just quickly. Look at this low, and we got another low. Look at this high. Look at this high. Look at all this. Maybe we come up for another high. And this is the thing here, guys. We're making lower lows and lower highs, right? We don't know where this is going to end and where it's going to stop. The probability increases as you're running into support. Again, support, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. Lots of motion. Volume confirmed right into here, about 73,000. Now, the question, as the bears come down, the question is, how much strength do they have to chip away at this volume, at these orders, right? At these levels, how much volume could they actually take back? And this is the concern here for a lot of us. And usually that's what happens, where market makers want the price to come and hunt liquidity. And that's the level of liquidity. That's where there's some pain. Max pain scenarios usually get tested. So my biggest outlook right now is to analyze dripping price action, also known as a falling wedge. If we can produce a falling wedge here, and as we get closer to the tip of the falling wedge, we start to provide, signs of a reversal, a pivot point structure, which for me, falling wedges are my bread and butter, type of structures that I like trading. But what's most important that I like about the falling wedges, it's not the wedge itself, the patterns themselves. I don't trade patterns, but I like them because they identify to me that we are most likely getting a very valid bullish divergence. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about that. Now, I'm going to spend a little bit more time here on Bitcoin because a lot of us want to get really, really aggressive in the altcoins. We're itching, but we have to understand what's happening here with Bitcoin first. Now, if you look at the oscillators, I'm going to show you the momentum oscillator for a second that I got going on, and you can see there is a very nice bullish divergence forming right here. Lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum. Expansion is giving you the same signal. Volatility already got overbought, and it got a quick Uno reverse midway. I don't appreciate that Uno reverse midway. It's most likely going to be a shakeout and come right back down. Obviously, probability, no guarantee. We could get overbought once again and start running. That's very possible, but I'm not willing to take the chance in the chop zone. Chop zones is, for the reason why it's called the chop zone, is because it chops you up. Basically, you go there and you get whipsaw price action up and down, and everybody gets wrecks, longs and shorts. I'm not really interested in doing that. However, what I am interested in seeing is a third drive of Class A bullish divergence. Totally different story. And usually, statistically speaking, we get those type of divergences when we start to see the falling wedges. And this is why I like falling wedges so much, is because as we see the price action fall, we could potentially see that drip where eventually come down for another lower low, and we maybe do another bounce to the downside and get to this level, very critical level at about 72,000 at worst case scenario. And it doesn't have to happen, guys. I'll talk about the bullish case scenario. This is still bullish. Don't get me wrong. This is still great, because then we can get all the confirmations we need with this, falling wedge, and we get another drive of Class A bullish divergence. And once we see the momentum break above the chop zone, this is usually where we get some really good follow through, and I'm going to be preparing for that without taking too much risk here. Okay, so this is not too bad. In the short term, if we start looking at the 4 hour, right, we can see that the 4 hour got a good amount of volatility to the upside already yesterday. Now, could we get another bounce? Could we come down to oversold conditions again? What could we be doing here? Ultimately, I'm seeing a little bit of a dip here to close that mean reversion that we left open yesterday, and then ultimately come back down, maybe 30%, maybe even come down for a lower low. That is also very possible. And if it does happen, expect that lower low on the price action, and then expect the divergence to still follow through on the higher time frames on that daily. So I'm watching what the bears are going to do here. What kind of response are we going to get when the orange line right here, this one right here, goes down to oversold conditions? I want to see what happens, like it has done in the past. Look at this. Look at this. It came to the top, rolled over, and then look at this, Look at this, came to the top, rolled over. And just keep in mind, as momentum reached overbought, as momentum is in a downtrend, as you can see, every time if you would have shorted, you would have been in a great scenario, because ultimately you're trading volatility in the same direction as momentum. Now that momentum got oversold on the 4-hour, the question is, are we going to get that pivot right here where we start to see a reversal to the upside, where we start to get overbought? And then we could long all the way up and then finally get that reversal. Obviously, guys, stay one step ahead, but you don't want to take too much risk without confirmations. I don't see many confirmations at the current moment. Now, if I am going to be waiting for a 4-hour confirmation, I want a higher low right here, and I want to break this neckline. That's what I want. I want a higher low right there. Now, if we go on the 1 hour, you might see it a little bit better. It's starting to look really good on the lower time frames. The change of character, we have a clear neckline right here that we could break right above. But if you enter the 1 hour, you got to exit on the 1 hour, guys. Resistance is right above, as you can see, and you got to be careful that acts as resistance where we get rejected and come down. Now, lower time frames, higher time frames, don't get all confused about time frames. Right now, if you're new to crypto and you're looking to gain some exposure to the assets, what you should be thinking about is accumulating on spot, because if Bitcoin gets its bounce, you're going to do great. If Bitcoin keeps on coming down to this level, yeah, you'll be underwater just a little bit for a period of time, but I'm hoping, and of course smoking a lot of opium lately, that we are going to get a bounce to the upside and eventually at least get a decent amount of relief where we can make some critical decisions and maybe see a rejection here, but we can decide what we do next and maybe continue to the upside. Well, level by level, guys, we'll definitely analyze this market. Now, what do we do about projects like altcoins, like Kaspa, larger cap altcoins with strong communities, decent fundamentals, and I'm going to say decent fundamentals, right? We're still waiting on Kaspa to follow through on some of its obligations to its community and to its coin holders, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. Fundamentals, we can put them aside for a second, because fundamentals you usually use as an indicator to buy and accumulate on spot. Fair enough. But when you see the price falling like this, there's no need to be aggressive in accumulating on spot. You can see that this was a very clear distribution scenario. Let's call it a distribution range, a massive one too. If you think about the range, how tall it was, or how much volume, or the range of it, you can see it's about 50% range of distribution. Crazy moments. And luckily, I was able to identify a nice pop to the upside and a de-risking scenario here, and I hold steady. I was very convicted and I was ready to take more profit. If we happened to explode one more leg up, I was ready to go to take more profit. And ultimately, what we did see here is a massive distribution, which means a sell-off. People, let's call them people, influential individuals, could easily keep the market propped up, creating this range so they can ideally keep on selling and basically attracting exit liquidity as the price reaches these good levels. They sell here, they sell here, and they sell here. And market makers, what they do is once it gets to this level, they paint the picture what they want to paint, and they get FOMO induced, and all of a sudden the market takes it to this level. As soon as they print a change of character or some sort of divergence or whatever happens here, the price starts to rally to the upside, not because of market manipulation only, it's but based on the FOMO that gets induced from communities, and unfortunately you become exit liquidity here. So this is what happens. This is why you have to really be able to identify what's really happening on a chart regardless of fundamentals. Now, you might be super fundamentally bullish at the current moment, which, Kaspa has what it has from a tech perspective. I'm going to keep this very light here because I don't want to, ruffle any feathers. But at the end of the day, Kaspa, what it does, it does it well. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't do. And this is the reality. And we are waiting for Kaspa to essentially compete in the smart contract space in a very important way. At this current moment, it's not really competing there. So who's its competition? Bitcoin? Okay, good luck. That's all I got to say about that. Now, as far as community goes, we can say that when does the community start putting their money where their mouth is? It's not a bad opportunity. If you think about where this thing actually retraced, this was the change of character, very important level, a level of which maybe some people could have taken some risk. And the good news is, if you bought some right into here, the good news is you didn't buy the top. Okay, you didn't buy the absolute bottom, but you didn't buy the top. So that's fine. And if you got defensive and you took the proper precautions to basically put a stop loss, even if it's on spot, you could put a triggered stop loss to get yourself out. If it starts breaking below and this other lower high, it came down for another confirmed lower low as we broke down. And more importantly for me, it actually fell through the volume gap. And it currently is looking for some support at the most important level of support in this entire chart. Guys, this level right here has to hold, and if it doesn't, it starts to look really, really bad. Why is that? That's because the volume starts to kick in, and this volume right here that starts to kick in belongs to people that got in quite early and got in with, you know, good intention, and basically potentially are round tripping after literally not taking any profit within this range and seeing their asset come right back to where it came from, and in fact potentially getting them underwater. And that is a very emotional thing for a lot of people, to the point that some people might say, you know what, I'm out, you know, and I'll buy at lower levels. That's their mentality. I'll buy. If it keeps on coming down, I'm going to buy again. It's going to come down. It's going to come down. It's going to come down. Now, the reality is that it could come down further. But if Kaspa has a chance for a reversal, the probability of that reversal starts to begin here, because we got volume. Now, we don't know which node of these little volumes that we're going to use as support. We don't know. And this is one of the biggest issues. I can tell you this, though. The bottom of the volume gap starts right here. And you know what? Buying at this level upon a confirmation, a structural confirmation, is not a bad idea. Leaving some capital behind to see what happens at this level. How many bears, how can the bears come down and hunt some of this liquidity? Is it possible? Anything is possible in this game, guys. Be prepared. So before we get into oscillators, let's just look at what exactly I would like to see at these zones. What I would like to see here, and remember, this is the volume area of the past, okay? These are the nodes of volume. What I would like to see is a structure. Now, we are making clear lower lows and lower highs into here. The trend is your friend until the end. And when does it end? When we get evidence of the end. And the end evidence that we need for is called a change of character. A pivot point structure that suggests now that we're going to make higher highs and higher lows. Instead of making lower lows and lower highs consistently, we want to see signs of bullish divergence. We want to see a higher low and a higher high, and start deploying into those confirmations. And that would get us a decent entry at this level if you slowly deploy. Now, the bigger issue here is this: could the market be playing games? And the games that I'm worried about is that it basically we do come down and start hunting liquidity down here at these, you know, nodes that I expressed earlier. Those are the issues. Now, could we come down and drip and keep on dripping? Sure, maybe we get a falling wedge of some sort, and then we get that reversal down here. We could make the epic swing failure pattern. Whereas when we come down, bounce back above, back test and spring. This hunts all kinds of liquidity, all kinds of stop losses, capitulates all kinds of people, and then we get back above and we back test and spring and call it a day for a swing failure pattern, and then a continuation to the upside. Whales love this. Market makers love this. They do this all the time to shake you out of your bags at the most crucial moment where you shouldn't be shaken out. Why? Because you endured a big dip, guys, a pretty big one here. And this is where support gets introduced, and not the time to sell. Despite your emotions, it doesn't matter. It's not the time to sell. If we do get a reversal structure, okay, maybe you want to sell right here. I get it. You know, cut your losses right there. At least you're recuperating some. Yeah, you might break back above and back test and spring on this horizontal and continuation. We might continue and start, you know, getting back above the 20-cent mark and start getting to all-time highs in price discovery. All of this is very possible, but not without a change of character. We need some sort of indication that this trend right here that's making lower lows and lower highs changes direction. Right now, we're getting zero indication of that. Zero indication of a reversal at this current moment, unfortunately. Okay, so we got to be clear, guys. Honesty is key, especially when you're trading, especially when you're investing. If you want to smoke the hopium, you can smoke it all day long. But the problem is that the price doesn't care. The price will keep on falling if it's meant to fall. And that's what I'm worried about, is the trend being your friend, or not your friend for that matter, if you're a holder. Now, what do we see here? If we go oscillators on the daily, I do see that momentum has completely bottomed out. I see a Class C bullish divergence based on a double bottom on the momentum, which is fine. But I want to see something more, because ultimately we're not getting strong divergences. Class C is not enough for me. Class C is just weak. In fact, it wouldn't be the best because it's both oversold, and we can hang out here in oversold conditions for longer than expected. At least, again, let's get a confirmation low, a higher low, maybe something like this right into here, and then I'm in. Then you put your stop loss, and then you get in, and then you wait for the break of the previous high, and then you wait for the back test there. You get in some more. You get a little bit more into here. But then again, based on the fact that the momentum since here is in a downtrend, as you can see, what about if we do that swing failure pattern and get people wrecked down here on the daily? I don't see a clear trend reversal other than the fact that momentum is currently oversold. That's all you got. Nothing more, and a very weak sign of divergence. Okay, so that's clearly on the daily. Now, what about on trend oscillator? Let's see what the trend oscillator is saying right now. We do see a Class A bullish divergence, which is great. Expansions right here. This expansion is deep, while this one is weak. We got Class A bullish divergence on the histogram bars, as you can see right here, which is great. EMAs are still in the bearish control zone. We did not get an EMA cross, and we did not get any green histogram bars. So it's a 50-50 for me. When I see some indication and some indications not, I'd rather be cautious. So I'm going to say 50-50 possibility of reversal. As far as momentum goes on the daily, nothing much. And if we go on the 4 hour, maybe for a quicker move, we do see a potential break to the upside, given that we have a small bull flag right here, which is not bad for a continuation to the upside. But as you can see, the oscillators momentum right now is volatility is overbought. Momentum wants to get overbought. So yes, if we are lucky enough to see the orange line get oversold, we go long and expect the momentum to get overbought. Then we get to pop to the upside, and be careful. After that, guys, you got other resistance that we've talked about. We got the 200 EMA here on the 4 hour. That could potentially be resistance, and the previous high right here, that could be resistance. Remember, if you enter on the 4 hour, you got to exit on the 4 hour. And we also have some good confirmations on the fact as we have the EMAs facing up, green histogram bars, purple expansion, and we are potentially looking to get into the bullish control zone, which is above the 0 on the 4 hour. So it's not bad on the 4 hour, but the daily's not giving it to you. Now, could the 4 hour eventually translate into a daily pivot? It could. The problem is when it could and you don't have no confirmations, you're taking risk. And I'm not willing to take any risk in this market at this current moment, because I want to deploy capital when my capital is at the safest level. And currently, Kaspa, given its current big picture outlook, I don't know if it's done. I'm not confirmed. Buy spot, guys. If you feel like you want to have some exposure on Kaspa, buy spot, and I would do it slowly. Put yourself on a time-based DCA, which would mean maybe once a week you deploy a couple, a bit of a bag, and eventually, as you see the structure form as a reversal, deploy heavier. Just use this as an example. This is a great example. As the price was falling, you saw eventually we did a reversal. A falling wedge reversal. This was epic. This is when I went in long and I took profit right up here. And again, another drip. But look what we got here right at the tail end. A nice pivot point structure reversal. Inverse head and shoulder looking. We got on lower time frames quickly on the 4 hour. If we can isolate that real quick, where to go? Maybe right here. Is this it? Most likely. You can see we were making lower lows and lower highs, and all of a sudden came down for a higher low. Boom, confirmed higher high, straight to the upside, and continuation. That's basically what you have to, guys. Trading is not that hard. You just got to be patient for the signals. And right now, like I said, Kaspa's not really giving me the signals. So we got to be very careful here. So big picture, we're doing okay. Market's okay. Holding steady here. We know there are a lot of good buy opportunities across the market. Take full advantage. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, see you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.